anybody running this one.
Pete's coming. Pete's coming.
Come on, Pete. We'll wait for Pete.
Let me pull my books down, please.
Pete is actually running.
Our lawyers here, for God's sake.
There's a difference between not making them run and not stopping.
Everybody said Pete's name once.
We're looking out for you, Pete.
Oh, Mrs. McClush, your first name? Scott.
So we asked you, I don't know, did this time expect it to go down as far as the bond rate today? What do you think?
Well, we knew that it was an uphill battle based upon the public attention that this case has received. I thought that we got a favorable result in the sense that the judge considered bond, is looking into bond, and has agreed to revisit bond. He has intimated that he's going to give a $50,000 bond, which is a good bond in this case, after looking into our client's prior residence.
Well, that's assuming he likes what he hears when the explanations come back. What's up with all the news?
Well, our information is that it's purely innocent moves, purposes of work.
So do you think they have the money to meet that bond? I mean, you've already admitted you're paying their rent.
Yeah, so I presented their rent check is what I did. I didn't actually physically pay it out of pocket. Yeah, that's right. So,
I mean, do they have that kind of money?
well, they would have to post 12% of the bond, and I believe that they could come up with that money.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Mitch. You all seem to have called his credibility into question. That he really lied about a lot of things.
I think the evidence speaks for itself, and it's been our position, both Ms. Rockwell and mine, that we're going to try this case in the courtroom, not in the media. And I think that, as you've learned today, there's a lot of different information that you didn't have before today that you now do have that might, in fact, call his veracity into question.
Well, there were a lot of descriptions of the urine soaked mattress potentially being locked in the bathroom. They were looking at remaining evidence that those doors had been locked. I mean, one could argue that a lot of the detail that came out in today's testimony doesn't necessarily paint your client or yours really in the most positive light.
It appears that it's truly inconclusive at this time, and the state is conducting an investigation that's ongoing. We're conducting our own independent investigation, and facts are coming in daily.
There's concern over what would happen to the daughters once should they be able to make bond. Both sides are making arguments on one side or another, but it seems that there's concern that they would be potential, there would be ramifications, that they may be put in danger. Should they be back in their parents' custody?
I think they should.
But there's so much publicity that's gone on, and I wonder if you believe that the prosecution at some level is playing to the sensational nature of this case, especially with regard to Mitch's condition and some of the things that have been said about what happened to Mitch and I
hope that's not true.
I mean, he's called it the most reprehensible. He said a lot of things about this case in terms of the nature of it.
Mr. Cole is a seasoned prosecutor.
What are your thoughts about the girls and your client's relationship with the girls?
They love their children. They love the girls.
Does that include Mitch?
That, again, is going to come out, I think, in the evidence.
Well, what are your thoughts? I mean,
I was very disappointed that there were no pictures. We have had access to the home. We've been in there. We've seen where the refrigerator, freezer was. We've seen the doors. We've seen the locks. We've seen the windows. We had the lawyer there that was the guardian ad litem. She saw the window. I brought her into the room. She would probably never comment, but that would have told more than anything. If you have it, bring it. This was the probable cause. If you have it, bring it. Show us the chisel marks. Show us the spot where he was kicking on the door or scratching on the wall. If you have it, show it. Show us where the window was barred. If you have it, show it. Don't hide the ball.
Well, it seems that your position, though, is, or at least it certainly sounded like in there, that Mitch wound up staying in that room out of his own free will. He had plenty of access to food. He could have gotten. I mean, is that what you're saying?
Remember, did you hear the entire thing? He said, "Why didn't you go outside? Because Mitch was afraid of bugs." Is that false imprisonment?
You say that your client is innocent.
She's standing by her not guilty plea. She is innocent.
Did Mitch make up these claims of abuse?
It is my opinion that all of this is going to rise or fall on credibility. Now, if he said it happened, if the Comers through their attorney say it didn't happen, bring the pictures. Bring the spot. All you have to do is, we were in the house. I'd like to get y'all in the house, but we can't do that yet. We were in the house. You'd be able to tell if there was a deadbolt that had been removed. Remember this, the police came in the middle of the night. Nobody knew the police were coming. You can see if you've got a big freezer pulled in front of a door, you'd be able to see that. The FBI could certainly show you.
So you think Mitch is making this all up?
And you know what? It wouldn't be up to me if you saw the pictures or if the judge saw the pictures.
Could you
Bring
have
the
brought those
pictures.
pictures?
Excuse me?
Could you have brought those pictures today if you had been in the house? What
we,
I'm asking is, could
we
you
have been in the house
Okay.
and we have taken pictures. This is not our trial.
Okay,
This
that's
is
what
up
I'm
to the
asking. You couldn't have
exactly.
presented them
Yes,
today.
yes,
So,
yes.
Okay.
Renee, did Paul and Sheila Comer lock their son into a room, give him little food, give him little water, and keep him cut off from people for years?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why do you
They
think?
did not do that.
Why do you think he stayed in the room?
I think that they would try to bring him out to talk to him. I mean, I'm talking to you about what has come out in the hearing, where the detective did say that he learned that they would try to bring Mitch outside to discuss things with him, or outside in the yard, and Mitch was afraid of bugs. That's ridiculous. That's not a false imprisonment. Now, regarding
So how do you
his
explain
size,
his weight?
she's this big. She's 5'1", 90 pounds. And if he's a small child, then that's what they didn't make him eat. They offered him food. They didn't make him eat.
What about
So
his
you think
sister
Mitch is
saying he
making-
was screaming to eat?
His sisters probably said that he would scream a lot. And he just, I wasn't in the house. I didn't hear that. I do know that there were 2 bedrooms upstairs where the parents stayed and the girls stayed, and Mitch stayed downstairs. And if that's the case, then he could have left out of the window if he couldn't have left out of any other exit. My concern is just that I was I was waiting for it through any witness, FBI, GBI, LAPD, or the Paulding County Sheriff's Department, to bring something in there to show that what he was saying was true.
So you really think Mitch made this all up?
I think that Mitch got to the point where he was a recluse. I think that he, based on this, now this is what I'm talking about, just gleaning it from the detectives, that he was in the school system until the sexual allegation came out, and that at that point there was no more school.
Do you think, well, in your defense of Sheila, will you be, tell me about what you want to do in terms of examining Mitch's mental state?
Well, first, we don't have any access to Mitch, and the first order of business would be to get her out on bond. I think that she's not a flight risk. She loves her girls. She's not going anywhere.
What does she think about Mitch?
I can't tell you that.
Well, let me go back to, in terms of the defense.
It's her son. I mean, she loves her child.
In terms of crafting your defense, with regard to Mitch's mental state, or I guess mental state is the right way to say that, what do you want to do in terms of trying to figure that out?
I truly do not believe that when this case goes to trial, this child, or he's 18 now, is going to get on a stand and tell 12 people that he does not know that he was confined to that room without any means of escape. Secondly, I thought it was real interesting that he emailed the detective, this came out in the hearing, and said, oh, by the way, the big freezer was actually moved in front of the door and blocking the door. That would have been possibly in response to somebody saying, wait a minute, we checked the door, and the door locks from the inside, the bathroom locks from the inside, the garage door locks from the inside. The garage door opener opens, there's a back door, there's a front door. The parents are upstairs. That's why I asked about the monitoring devices. Was there an alarm if he would have tried to get out in the middle of the night or tried to go out of the window?
The issue, you just mentioned that he shouldn't have felt as though he was being in prison with no means, with no means of escape. You talk about no means of escape. Why shouldn't he have felt that if he wasn't a prisoner, why would he feel as though he needed means to escape?
That's what I'm saying. They're saying that he was falsely imprisoned, that he couldn't leave. So I'm not sure if he couldn't leave because he was afraid of bugs if he went out the window. You can go out the front door and there's bugs out the front door. Did you see my client when they were talking about him being afraid to leave, to go out the window because there were bugs outside, mosquitoes outside?
So why don't you
Did you
think
see
he
her
ever went through
face?
the front door?
I guess the point is you believe he could.
I don't listen. I don't know if, without going into my client's, conversation with me, I don't know that Mitch really maybe even wanted to go to LA. He was a young man. He was 18. I don't know. I know he had thoughts of becoming an actor, as you heard, and so they got him a bus ticket to go to LA. But
What would be his motivation for making all this up?
I don't know if I could answer that without violating
Well,
a
try. Why?
confidence.
Well, try. Why would he make
well,
this all up?
I don't think that I could answer that without violating something that I've learned from my client, because that did not come out at the hearing, why he would have done that. I will say this, that if given long enough, if he stays in a certain house or certain spot with a certain family long enough, I think that the true Mitch may come out.
Renee, thanks a lot.
I don't like the sounds of
We'll
that.
see y'all. We'll see y'all on the 23rd.